This hourly segment is brought to you by Eagle Ridge Resort and Spa. Go to EagleRidge.com for info on their fall hole-in-one golf package.
Now, Jake Hartford on 890 AM.
To the party, like you were walking onto a yacht. Your hat strategically dipped below one eye. Your scarf, it was apricot. You had one eye in the mirror as you watched yourself go out. And all the girls dreamed that they'd be your partner. They'd be your partner, and you're so vain.
The Song of Washington and the Politicians.
This song is about you. You're so
6:07, 7 past 6, hour number 2 of Awake with Jake, up and running right here on WLS. Man, there's a lot of stuff we're going to get to today. Did you see the story about the guy who went to the CTA barn, bus barn on the south side the other night? Checked out, he had a stolen CTA uniform on, checked out a bus, and was driving it down the street for about 4 hours, picking up people, making stops. And you know what gave him away? Two things. Number one, he was on time, and number two, he was courteous. He said, this can't be a real driver. We're going to get to Dr. Bob in a minute or so. Robert in Athens. Hello, Robert.
Yeah, I was wondering if you are following Lady Gaga's call to contact your senator and ask them to repeal the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy.
I know she's been doing that. And that was one of the big pledges that Barack Obama made when he was running for office. That was going to be one of the first things he was going to do, and he's kind of run into some resistance.
Right. He hasn't really, followed through with that at all, or really mentioned it since he's been elected.
No, he hasn't done that. I mean, Clinton was going to do that too, and then Clinton ran into problems.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of. I think it'd be kind of an albatross for any, president at least to kind of run behind that.
Well, you make a lot of promises to your base, and then you don't deliver.
Yeah, that is true, and people in the House of Representatives and the Senate are, kind of feeling the heat from that. Harry Reid, I know, is under a lot of pressure from his constituents.
Harry Reid called the guy who's the Democratic nominee for the Senate from Delaware. What's his name? Chris Coons. He called him his pet. I'd like to have that on your campaign literature. Vote for me. I'm Harry Reid's pet.
Well, he's a beacon of dignity and credibility anyway. So
yeah, now they're pandering to the Hispanic community. They're trying to pass this DREAM Act 45 days before the election.
So of course, once again, but if Lady Gaga gets behind it, do you think it would have any push or pull?
They say where Lady Gaga goes, Liza Minnelli can't be far behind.
That's not good.
All right, thank you, Robert.
Like dragging a tailpipe. Okay, thanks.
Whatever that means. I have no idea. I have no idea. All I know is the arrogance of the politicians. It's like, did you see the Tribune's front page yesterday? The millions and millions of dollars that's going out for these local officials and stuff. They pad their last salaries so they get an increased pension and stuff. It's costing millions and millions. Everybody's in. There was a story. I even saw a story yesterday about this cafeteria manager at this local school. The more kids you have, the cheaper you get the lunch. The lunch program administered by the federal government. So this guy put his dog on the list with his two daughters. And the only reason he got caught is somebody realized that was the name of his dog. If he had made any other name up, he wouldn't have been caught. So then they start checking the list real close, and they find out all these other school people were putting their animals on the list to get free stuff. It's all over the place. It's like sick time. You remember when they put sick time in? What was sick time supposed to be for? It was one of those things, well, if you were too sick to go to work, they didn't want you to actually lose, be penalized by losing your salary and where you can't support your family and yourself. And so they gave you sick time. They gave you sick days. So what happened with that? People started abusing it. So then you've got the people working in the governments who would keep their sick time, pile it up, and then when they're leaving office or leaving their job, they cash in and it boosts their salary. So they get a higher pension. It's like everybody's working the system. Everybody's working something. And speaking of a man who really works hard, our very own Dr. Bob.
Please, doctor.
Who years ago had a decision to make. Should he come with me or should he go with Oprah? And he said, you know what? Let Dr. Oz go with Oprah. I'm going with Jake. You tell me if that was a wise decision. Good morning, Dr. Bob.
Good morning, Jake. I'm so glad to hear that the show is focused on three of my favorite topics.
Yeah, we're
dogs.
I know we're going to avoid them today with you.
Dogs, feces, and men having sex with horses. That's those are three big ones.
And for those who are just joining us, yes, you'll see it in your Chicago Sun-Times this morning. There was somebody at the Arlington Park racetrack who became very affectionate with a 4-year-old filly. God, and underage too. It's bad enough it's a horse, but he was underaged.
Last year, there was a guy in Washington State who died while he was mounting a horse.
If it kills him, it kills him.
Yeah. So
I got to tell you, this show is hell. I can't stand it. I'm sorry, Dr. Bob. Did that throw you off for a second?
Yeah, it did. Can I tell you a story that happened to me yesterday? It's the boomerang effect from Facebook. Yesterday at 6 a.m., I'm scanning Facebook, and one of your friends is a dog, and it was a dog's birthday. So the dog is pictured there on a nice hardwood floor next to a birthday cake. So I posted on there, boy, that's real nice, floor there. If I were you, I'd poop on it. And so that's 6 a.m. It's dark out, and so I figure I did my good deed for the day. I go downstairs in my house to make myself a cup of coffee. It's dark. I don't turn the lights on because I'm kind of cheap and want to save money. And barefoot, I stepped into a large hot steamer that my 145-pound dog had left for me. And I figured that this was an example of post unto others as you would have them post unto you. And I feel in some way that the Facebook spiritually led my dog to do that to me.
It's karma. It's karma, and I don't like that karma thing.
My karma ran over my dogma.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... can I send a shout-out to James from friend of the show and sponsor?
No. No, you can't.
Concrete polishing?
No, you can't do any of that stuff. No, we got to stay. I know. We have a lot of friends of the show. Let's just move. Let's keep focused here. Flu shots.
Yes. Last year there were 2 different shots you should get: the seasonal flu and the H1N1. This year it's all rolled into one. It's the H1N1 is one of the 3 parts of the standard seasonal influenza shot. It's still recommended for everybody to get the influenza shot. There's going to be way enough vaccine for everybody this year. Everybody's recommended. Everybody over 6 months of age is recommended to get a flu shot as long as you're not significantly allergic to eggs. If you're worried about thimerosal in the vaccine, which I personally am not, but if you are, there's lots of thimerosal-free vaccine. So it's a good thing for everybody to get.
There you go. See? Was that so hard?
No. But
you don't like being a doctor, do you?
Well, I used to be a plumbing and heating guy, and that was more fun. You sit around and talk. And then I was unemployed for a year, and I went back to college, and here I am now. And when you go to cocktail parties, everybody, you want to talk about plumbing and heating, and everybody else wants to talk to you about, their ailments, and my shoulder hurts when I,
But I'm surprised, though, but your specialty is germs.
It's very interesting. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, but wouldn't it have been better, like when you go to parties, you tell people, hey, yeah, I used to be in plumbing and heating, and now I'm a urologist or a gynecologist? Wouldn't that be a better kind of transition?
Okay, when you're not a
urologist
or a gynecologist, they talk to you about it. But when you're a urologist or gynecologist, they say, "Hey, can I show you something?" You know.
I guess.
And it's not all pleasant, Jake.
Doctor, it hurts when I do this. Don't do this. I know.
Well, I have lots of stories of unpleasant situations, and you see, one nice thing about doing what I do is I see the urology patients and I see the gynecology patients and stuff like that. But I see them when they're infected or have some other unusual thing going on. But I get a broad sampling of all the whole spectrum of medicine. It's very, very interesting. So I can't complain.
All right, Dr. Bob, we have to go now. You know why we have to go?
Because Joe Rosansky's coming up with sports?
No, because we have our other doctor to get to.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye-bye, Dr. Bob.
Bye.
Bye.
Please, doctor, I'm damaged. There's a pain where there once was a heart. It's sleeping, it's a fading. Can't you please tear it out?
Goodbye. That's Dr. Bob. 2 B's, 1 O. But now we're joined by our other doctor of the show, Dr. Julie. Good morning, Dr. Julie.
Hi, I haven't called since you changed station.
Now, why is that?
Well, I really didn't have anything to say.
Dr. Bob never does either.
But he's funny.
I know that.
Yeah, he's very
That's gonna be his next thing.
Yeah, a comedian after heating and air conditioning or whatever.
I could have been with Oprah, but I went with Jake.
Oh, lucky man, lucky man. Hey, I wanted to say that when you said when I go to anywhere, when I go to the grocery store, when I walk down anywhere, people have me look at their skin. That is so true. I want to tell them I'm a brain surgeon.
Well, what do you wear? Something that says doctor on you so people know?
No, I mean, I'm just saying when I go to, like if I go to the some doctor dinner dance, I'm in the bathroom looking at all the wives' skin. It's crazy. I mean, what do they ask Dr. Bob about? Infectious disease.
Or plumbing and heating.
Yeah.
Now, would it be wrong for me if people ask what I do and I said doctor? Would that be wrong if I'm not one?
No, but yeah, I think that would be very, very interesting. You should say, and you need to make up like proctologist or something and see what they ask you.
And see what kind of stories I can get?
That's it. They need to give you more time on this station.
I have 5 till 7.
Oh, God.
What?
Get rid of those.
No. 5 to 7. I'm here.
Okay.
It's not quantity, it's quality. Don't you? Isn't that what women always say?
Very true. Very true.
I haven't heard that lately, but anyway, that's what I understand they say.
Uh-huh.
Take care, Dr. Julie.
Talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There she goes, Dr. Julie. You've had both doctors this morning, no waiting. And this is in spite of Obamacare. When that whole thing kicks in, we may have to cut back all the doctors. You won't see any doctors. You know the death panels, they say you're not going to have death panels? Oh, you're never going to have death panels. That won't happen. You know how it is going to happen? You know how it's going to happen? I'm going to tell you that at 6:30. After 6:30, I'm going to give you a good example how it's going to happen because it's happening right now in a different part of government. And we have a whole lot. Man, we have so much to get to. Man, it's just... I'm so excited. I may even stay awake for the next 40 minutes. 6:19, back after this in WS.
Awake with Jake Hartford, 890 AM, WLS.
The Speaker allows an up or down vote. I'm confident
Get the whole story here.
that the American people will not see increases in their taxes.
We will not be defeated. We will come back again and again and again.
The tax cuts at the high end have not produced any jobs. They've only increased the deficit.
We don't back down from a fight.
Keeping you connected to the stories that matter most.
That's not in my prepared remarks,
890 AM,
but it's true.
WLS.
Want to move your career in the right direction? Purdue University offers weekend MBA programs for working professionals. This Saturday-only family-friendly program on the West Lafayette campus prepares managers to understand today's demanding business environment, complex organizations, and technology changes, all without interrupting your standard work week. Here's what Purdue Weekend MBA graduate Emilio has to say.
While learning my MBA at Purdue, I learned about effective management skills, understanding economic climates, and positioning a company to succeed in the ever-changing global economy. I encourage anyone who wants to take that next step in achieving their goals to come to Purdue to earn an MBA and become a part of the dream.
See why U.S. News and World Report recently ranked Purdue University's weekend MBA program among the top 20 in the nation. The next program begins in January. Applications are being accepted now. Call 877-MBA-KRAN or visit purdue.edu and search Weekend MBA. Move forward with Purdue University's Weekend MBA program.
Since OnStar began, we've answered over 100 million calls for help.
This is OnStar Emergency.
I believe I have a diabetic attack. I'm in the middle of a sunflower field.
Okay, sir. I am going to contact the 911 center.
911.
This is OnStar Emergency. I'm going to give you a lat long. Lat is 44.7355. Long is negative 100.41. The gentleman is a diabetic. I'm going to conference him in.
What happened?
I do not remember. I need an ambulance to stabilize my blood sugars. My car is disabled.
Okay, we'll get you help.
I'm going to stay until the police arrive.
Why am I so weepy? I'm not a crier.
It could be the sugar levels changing from stress.
Yeah. I'm an old infantry officer. I don't get stressed out.
I don't think you're that old, sir.
They're here. Thank you.
You take
so
care
much.
now. You're welcome.
OnStar is standard for up to 1 year on 35 models. Visit OnStar.com for service length, details, and system limitations.
The Home Depot's home to the only #1 rated interior paint and primer in one, Behr Premium Plus Ultra. So, stripes on the wall? Covered. Burgundy walls that need a lighter shade? Covered. All done in half the time, leaving you with years of beautiful, true color. Thanks to the only paint and primer in one that's rated #1, Behr Premium Plus Ultra. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Paint rated by a leading consumer study. See store for details.
Now at OfficeMax, when you buy $60 worth of any national brand ink, you'll get 3 reams of paper free.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's worth $13.
So I buy $60 worth of any national brand ink and get 3 reams of paper free?
Yep, and OfficeMax has the largest retail selection of ink and toner and over 900 stores.
3 free reams of paper. I could print War and Peace.
Maybe then you'd read it.
OfficeMax. Work with us. Purchase $60 of ink before taxes. Excludes HP Photo Value Packs, ink refill, and OfficeMax brand ink. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details. Offer ends 9/18.
My mom and dad can no longer live in their own home without assistance, and there have been instances of falling, forgetting to take their medication, and maintaining their home's been increasingly tough. Having a family of my own, kids, a full-time job, I've been trying so hard to care for everyone, but it's been a challenge I never thought I'd face. I know my parents deserve better care than what I'm able to offer, and luckily, I heard about Paradise Park Assisted Living and Memory Care. My parents stayed there just for 1 week to see if they liked the environment. Paradise Park is surrounded by gorgeous trees, flowers, fountains, homemade meals served 3 times a day, snacks anytime, and the entertainment and activities there just don't stop. In 1 week, they've made friends and love their new lifestyle, so they've decided to stay.
Check out Paradise Park Assisted Living and Memory Care. Visit their locations in Fox Lake, Lake Zurich, or New Lenox, or call 847-437-HOME. That's 847-437-4663. Or on the web at ParadiseParkALF.com.
Learn to avoid having a financial repeat of 2008. Listen to Securing Your Financial Future with the Goldstone Financial Group. Sunday mornings at 8.
Find out what's happening in the nation and around the world with ABC News updates at the top and bottom of every hour on 890 AM WLS. You're listening to Jake Hartford on 890 AM WLS.
.624. It's Awake with Jake. It's a Saturday morning. It could be a wet Saturday morning, depending where you are. We will get back to more of your calls, and I'll tell you about the how you could have death panels. This will uplift your morning and get you thinking. But first, you know what it's time for? Every Saturday at this time, it's time for our sports. Yes, sirree. It's time for sports with Joe Rosansky. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Jake. Well, you got a new bandwagon to jump on.
Well, last week I stopped the Sox bandwagon, gave everybody a chance to get off, and for those who stayed on and crashed into the Cubs bandwagon, I'm sorry, you had your chance. Man.
Well, you, as usual, though, Jake, you picked a good bandwagon to jump to.
Well, of course, it's the Yankees.
Yankees won 4-3 over Baltimore last night. Alex Rodriguez. Remember, we were watching for his 600th home run?
Yeah.
He had a 3-run homer in the 9th inning for the win. That was his second homer of the game.
There you go.
So they're in first place now by a half game.
Now, they will be playing the Tampa Bay Rays 4-game series starting Monday.
Right. They've got 7 games remaining against Tampa. And, most people in the world are hoping Tampa wins, but
not for this show. Not for this show. It's the Yankees, sir. Because you know why? You know what's nice if the Yankees win? They win the World Series. I want to see the effort the Cubs make to try to hire Joe Girardi away. I want to see that effort. I bet there's no effort. There will be no effort.
Well, I don't...
Because there will be no money.
Exactly. You wonder, hey, maybe they'll go after Joe Torre now.
Yeah, he's 70 years old.
Got Yankee connections.
Yeah. Now, the word for the day is arrogance, and a name that comes to mind is Aramis Ramirez.
Okay.
He picked up his own... He could be a free agent this year if he wanted, going into next season.
Right.
And test the free agent market. He didn't want to do that because he has an option for next year for, what is it, $14 million, $15 million, something like that?
$14 million.
And he said the other day, because he doesn't understand why people don't like him right now, and he said, 400 at-bats, I've got about 20 home runs and 70 RBIs. And I'm like, yeah, most of them came after the Cubs were out of the chase for the division.
That's true.
When the homers didn't mean squat.
But the Cubs did win last night, 2-0 over Florida.
Wow, that Cuadrier is really something, huh? The miracle worker.
Hey, they're 15-7 under him.
Yeah, okay.
Ryan Dempster got the win. He's done really well. He's won 5 of his last 5 road starts, and he's actually had a decent season.
I don't care anymore. The Hawks practiced today. They opened their practice to everybody.
Just 100 days ago, they won the Stanley Cup. Today, a sold-out United Center for the first scrimmage and practice of the season.
How much are they charging for that?
It costs $5 to get in.
God.
You don't. There's no parking fee.
Is the $5 going to like a charity or something?
Well, if you want to call the Blackhawks a charity.
Oh wow! People are actually paying to see practice.
Joel, Coach Q is going to wear a microphone.
You know how many hockey practices I've seen in my lifetime?
I know.
There's nothing to see.
No, there really isn't. They'll sit around center ice in a big circle while Coach Q tells them how important it is to be ready for the upcoming season and how other teams are going to be gunning for them. And let's all have a good time. Then they'll skate in a circle. Then they'll skate back and forth.
Yeah, they do the circle this way, circle that way. They do the eights. They do the... you know what? After a while, the most important thing when you go to a hockey practice is you rate the rinks by the coffee. That's it. Well, live. And the Bears play tomorrow.
They do. They're traveling down to Dallas, where they're 7.5-point underdogs to beat the Cowboys.
And they're on top of their division.
Well, yes, this is true. Now, you have to remember, Jay Cutler 3 interceptions on the road last year. That was the most in the NFL since 1986. And the Bears have only been 2-0 once since 2003. That was the year they went to the Super Bowl. Dallas has not been 0-2 since 2001. I don't think this will be the year they start.
They say Dallas looked real bad. The Bears look like Super Bowl champions last week, yet the Bears are 7.5-point underdogs. Something's wrong with this picture. Your prediction that we're going to let you go.
I think Dallas will win, and they'll win by more than the spread.
What will be the score?
30-16.
And if you're not right, I think we really will let you go.
Oh no! Oh no! I'll be back to covering Illinois and Northern Illinois.
All right, jump on the Yankee bandwagon. It's time to say goodbye.
Take care, Jake.
See ya. That was Joe Rosansky with the sports. Jump on the bandwagon. 6:31. Back with a lot more right after this on WLS.
Awake with Jake. Jake Hartford, 890 AM, WLS. When weather happens, stay informed with comprehensive forecasts from the Weather Channel on 890 AM, WLS. Jake Hartford is on 890 AM, WLS.
For some reason, I want to reach for a tall glass of Amstel Light right now. Chug it down. Take a couple walks around the studio and have another one. Every time I hear that song, I'm like Pavlov's dog. Welcome to the home stretch. I got a note here from Paul Bryan from Paul Drive Chicago at 8 o'clock right here on WLS. He says, Dear Jake, could you help me out? Could you ask some of your listeners to listen to my show today at 8 o'clock? You know, some of those many listeners you carry around in your pocket like loose change. Could you do that for me? Okay, please. So, folks, listen to Paul today, 8 o'clock with Drive Chicago, 8 till 9. And then don't forget, it's you really want to get the block at noontime with Bruce Wolf and Dan Proff from noon until 2. Then Eddie and Jobo, 2 until 3. Chet Kopic with the Notre Dame pregame show at 5:30, then Notre Dame football. There you go. We'll get back to your calls, 591-8900. Let me explain this death panel thing. And here's how you get to it. And it's a leap, but not much of a leap. There was a story about a month ago. Chris Christie from New Jersey, the governor of there, they had the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Education, run by Arnie Duncan, who used to run our Chicago Public Schools, is now the head guy there in Washington, D.C., went to D.C. with President Obama. They had this competition. It was a game show. It was like Race for Cash or something like that, they called it. And New Jersey was upset because they had filed this 1,000-page application for aid from the U.S. government. And some piece of paper wasn't signed right or whatever, and they got disqualified. They came in 11th, didn't get any money. And it was crazy because Christie was mad at his education guy, and the education guy said, yeah, I did it and whatever. And then the education department comes back with, no, we got videotape. He didn't have that thing, whatever. And then they end up firing the guy, whatever. But then I'm reading the other day, Mayor Daley is upset because Illinois was part of that same competition. And Chicago got screwed. Chicago got screwed. Imagine that. Because they were part of that same game show, the Race for Cash. And Illinois came in 15th out of 19 states. You see how they do that? We know you need money. We're just not going to give you the money. We're going to play a game for it. And the winners will get the money, and the losers, screw your kids. That's what we're doing. And imagine when it comes to the health care coverage. Imagine what that's going to be. Okay, we only have so much money this month. Let's hear, all right, Hospital A, who do you have? What are your patients? What are their illnesses? Maybe, maybe not. It'll be Race for Life. That's what they'll call that. Russ in Berwyn. Hello, Russ.
Hey, good morning, Jake. You know, the show has really been going to the dogs so far. Hello?
Yeah, that's the response you're getting for that comment, Russ.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Listen, what I wanted to say was I had a nomination for an Aragon Award.
All right, who gets it?
Debbie Halverson from Illinois 11th.
Who voted for the health care coverage, by the way?
I know, and what I wanted to tell you, why I'm nominating her is for something she said on Don and Roma's show back during the first 100 days of President Obama. She made a comment about her job was to get elected, and then representing her constituents, she would do what she thought best. And if they agree with her, they keep her in. And if they don't agree with her, they could vote her out.
Is she running ads of touting the fact that she voted for Obamacare?
No, but she's running ads against her opponent. And I swear to God, the old guy with the hollow eyes and the mustache is a relative. They're blasting her opponent on there. He's
one of your relatives?
Pardon me?
He's one of your relatives?
One of hers.
Oh. Well, that's you can do that.
I don't think any of my relatives would speak up for her. I'm stuck with out-of-pocket Dan Lipinski.
Now, he voted against the health Obamacare.
He did. That was, one of the few things. And I call him, and once in a while he'll return my call or at least send me a letter or something. He'll reply, a postcard or something. He's been pretty good for doing that. But then my other representative, the senator, the Dick Durbin, he never replies. And his people in his office are very, very arrogant.
Well, yeah, they can be. They're in power. That's what happens. You get arrogant.
You're right. Talking about being in power, one last quick comment. Rosansky on the sports report. If you're going to fire him if he blows the score on the Dallas and the Bear game, and he's going to be reverted to cover Northern Illinois and Illinois. I'm a graduate of Northern Illinois, and I take offense to have Joe Rosansky cover that game.
Okay, with that, we're going to go. Thank you, Russ.
Thanks. Bye, Jake.
It's just people helping people. That's all it is here. All right, buckle up, strap them down. Here it comes. Paul from Downers Grove. Good morning, Paul.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Paul?
Oh, I'm feeling fine. On Friday nights, we're up late stuffing our literature bags so we can go and knock on doors and try to get the truth out to them.
And you're telling people about the candidates who voted for Obamacare? You're letting people know who they are?
Talking about Obamacare, I'm here in the 13th Congressional District where we got incumbent Judy Biggert that took all kinds of money from the health insurance companies, and then she voted to allow them to not cover people for pre-existing conditions.
Let me ask you a question, Paul.
All right.
Do you use heroin?
No.
You had to think about that, didn't you?
I've never used it, no.
Now, but if you did use it and you had to go to a program for addiction, for heroin, did you know under the Obamacare, you're paying for that program, whether you use heroin or not?
What I know is that you're for the health insurance companies that want to keep ripping us all off.
You mean like President Obama was for the health insurance companies?
Well,
why did he do that, Paul?
I was for Dennis Kucinich.
How did Dennis Kucinich vote on that Obamacare?
Dennis Kucinich was the one that was holding out for universal health care.
How did he vote? How did he vote on Obamacare? Yes or no? What did he do?
Obama flew him on Air Force One.
Well, he bought him off on a plane trip to Cleveland. And little presidential M&Ms. How did he?
Kucinich knew that if the Republicans get
did he vote for it?
We won't get any health.
Did he vote for it?
He talked to his wife, and she said.
Did he vote for it?
Because he knew that it was better than nothing.
Paul, you're having a hard time saying he voted for it, aren't you, Paul?
Well, no, he voted for it because it's better than what the Republicans would give us, which would be to keep the health insurance.
All right, here, let me.
But it's not as good as Kucinich's plan.
Bye, Paul. Bye. That's all I can take. All right, hold on. Hold the Paul's music there for a second. I went back and checked last week the presidential Saturday, the speeches. And a year ago, let me give you a quote from what the president was saying a year ago during his weekly address. Quote, "In the United States of America, no one should have to worry that they'll go without health care, not for 1 year, not for 1 month, not for 1 day. And once I sign my health reform plan into law, they won't." And you know what? That ain't true. He signed it. It's law. But that little comment about people won't have to worry they'll go without health care, not for 1 year, not for 1 month, not for 1 day, and once I sign my reform plan into law, they won't, is not true. We have a health care plan where, you're not going to get health care until 2014. How does that work for you? Bob on the South Side. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Jake.
What can I do for you?
Well, you get the morning award for that call, but, what are you going to do? Here's my question. This Christine O'Donnell, she got a lot of heat after she won the primary.
She's against masturbation, Bob.
Yeah, well, that's a real key issue. I mean, the fate of the world depends on that issue. You know what I'm talking about? We only got how many people out of work, right?
That's my point.
Well, some of the criticism she got was from Republicans like Karl Rove, okay? One of the things he said really struck me, okay? And I'll tell you what it is. He criticized her, among other things he said, it was because, and it took her 20 years to pay off her college loan. So what? She's paying the college loan off, and I got a bulletin for him. I make a pretty good dollar. My daughter graduated 10 years ago. I'm just paying it off this year. What is the criticism of that? Is he paying for it?
And, Bob, could I just remind everybody, as long as you brought up the college loans, it wasn't until, I believe, 2004 or so that the president and his wife paid theirs off.
Yeah,
and he's 48 years old.
You know, Carl, everybody doesn't make $500,000 a year or $1 million a year. And by the way, I enjoy reading and politics and stuff. I'll never buy one of his books. That 10-minute critique of her cost him a lot of money. But getting back to this college loan stuff, I don't know how people today are going to be paying for college education for their kids down the road. I mean, I just paid off my daughter's college tuition. It wasn't that much back then, but we had to do certain things for it. So to criticize her for that, is he paying for it or am I paying for it? No, she's paying for it. So I give her a lot of credit for that. But see,
did Jimmy Stewart? What kind of background did he have when he went to Washington? Remember that? Remember the movie?
I love that movie.
Wasn't he just Mr. Smith? Wasn't he just like a real person?
And I'll leave you with this. This is what these guys, Karl Rove and Krauthammer and all, they don't get it. They don't. People are tired of this nonsense. They want people. I used to be against term limits. I'm so for term limits now. It's exactly what we should do. You go in there, you do a job after 1 term, 2 terms, whatever, and you let somebody else go in there and try to do the best job they can do. Yeah, professional politicians we don't need.
Hey, Bob, let me ask you one question before you go.
Yeah.
You were on the Sox bandwagon this year, weren't you?
I'm always on the Sox bandwagon.
Didn't it just kill you when they blew the 3 to the Twins this week?
Yeah, you know why that happened? The Twins are better. They're just a better team. But hey, I got 2005 to think about. But other than that, it's too bad. The year turned out.
Yeah, your memory only has to go back 5 years, unlike over 100 for some other people.
Yeah, I go back 5 years, and your sport. I go back 5 years, and your sportscaster guy, he goes back 102 years.
Thank you, Bob.
Have a nice day.
6:49. Back after this on WLS.
Jake Hartford is on 890 AM WLS.
Brian Craig Bennett.
Eric L. And the whole story.
We're still in this wrestling match with John Boehner.
Here.
It's not Republicans standing in the way here. There's a growing chorus of
Republicans, Democrats.
We're in this to win.
Together we will win in November.
I'm not yielding 1 grain of sand.
Tea Party folks are mad.
890 AM.
This is right on the money.
WLS.
It's not the Addison L stop. It's the way your dad took you for the first time and the way his dad took him. It's not a stadium. It's Wrigley. It's not a seat. It's where you make a stand. 120 and 705 aren't times a day. They're fresh chances to be part of something great. It's not Ivy. It's a soft landing place for heroes with names like Hack and Sweet Swingin' Billy from Whistler. It's not a souvenir because if it was hit by the other team, it's going back. It's not ketchup on that hot dog, is it? It's not the middle of the 7th. It's when you stand and smile and sing with 41,000 friends. It's not a W. It's a white and blue beacon over the scoreboard that means happy times are here again because it's the Chicago Cubs. And your ticket is your admission, not just to a game, but to a way of life.
On Friday, September 24th at 1:20, the first 10,000 adults 21 and older to enter the ballpark will receive a Cubs bottle opener, compliments of Anheuser-Busch. Don't miss the action at Wrigley Field.
Plus tax, title, license, and dock fee, stock number L00629. For over 50 years, Howard Orloff has been proudly serving Chicagoland. At Howard Orloff's Land Rover Chicago, it's the perfect time as the seasons change to take advantage of incredible savings during our special clearance sale. Right now, drive a new 2010 Land Rover LR2 for only $29,900. That's $29,900 for a new Land Rover LR2. But you need to hurry for best selection only at Howard Orloff's Land Rover Chicago. Just off the Kennedy at Armitage or at Orloff.com.
And now for the bonus round. Steve has 2 nickels and a penny. Sal has a quarter and 3 dimes. Who ordered the pasta?
Ramon?
Correct. If laughter is the best medicine, what's the second best medicine?
Baba Ganoush?
Correct. What are the 2 ways Netflix delivers movies?
Instantly to your TV, plus DVDs by mail?
Correct! Netflix now delivers movies 2 ways. Instantly to your TV, plus DVDs by mail. Watch as many TV episodes and movies as you want for only $9 a month. Netflix! See terms of use.
The Home Depot now has a variety of vanity sets starting at just $49. Great quality for an even better value. That's a purchase that reflects not only your good taste, but your good sense as well. We've lowered the cost of renewing and redoing your bath thanks to stunning vanity sets starting at just $49. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Faucets sold separately while supplies last. U.S. only. See store for details.
Plus tax, title, license, and dock fee to qualified buyers. Payment based on 2.9% APR financing for 72 months. For over 50 years, Howard Orloff has been proudly serving Chicagoland. At Howard Orloff Volvo's model year-end sales event, you'll get incredible values and pay nothing to repair or maintain your new Volvo for the first 5 years of ownership. Right now, buy a new 2011 Volvo C30 for $25,450 or just $389 a month. Only at Howard Orloff Volvo, just off the Kennedy at Armitage or at Orloff.com.
When you consider that the number of people suffering from hunger right here in northern Illinois skyrocketed by 35% in the last 18 months, it's clear that in this economy there is an unprecedented need for help. And when you learn that Northern Illinois Food Bank has been nationally recognized as Food Bank of the Year by Feeding America for all its efforts to meet these growing hunger needs, it's clear that they are committed to making a difference. And you can too. Donate to Northern Illinois Food Bank today. Volunteer, get involved, and make an impact in the lives of your neighbors right here in suburban Chicago. Provide nutritious meals to school children. Bring mobile food pantries to communities from DuPage to Will, Lake to Kankakee, and help us achieve our goal of creating a hunger-free Northern Illinois. Visit foodbankoftheyear.org today to learn more ways your generosity can make a difference where you live. Because with your help, we can do even more. That's foodbankoftheyear.org.
Learn to avoid having a financial repeat of 2008. Listen to Securing Your Financial Future with the Goldstone Financial Group. Sunday mornings at 8.
Get the news you need to know about with ABC News Updates just minutes away on 890 AM WLS. Jake Hartford on 890 AM WLS.
Oh, yeah. Got one of the stories we're not going to get to today. Police down in Florida recovered this body floating in the water. They thought it was a homicide. Turns out it was a guy who was buried at sea. Didn't stay buried. Oops. Now they're going to have rules for that, too. Before we get back to your calls, 591-8900, Paul Bryan from Drive Chicago at 8 o'clock is on the line. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Jake. How are you?
What can I do for you?
Listen, I just wanted to let you know that I appreciated the little shout-out you gave me before about people listening to what I lovingly call my little radio show.
The little car show.
Yeah, my little car show. Because, God, we really need listeners. We really do. So I'm begging you, and I know that you control so many listeners that you carry around in your pocket. It's like change. Loose change, actually. And I actually got up this morning and listened. You got a cute little show here.
You know what? You had 30 seconds, and your 30 seconds are up. Thank you, Paul. He asked for 30. I gave him 35. Because that's the kind of guy I am. He'll be here at 8 o'clock with his show at 8 till 9, Talking Cars. Talking to you, Cindy in Libertyville. What can I do for you? Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Jake.
Good morning.
This is the second time in less than 12 hours that I've heard Debbie Halverson's name brought up. And I was at a private event last night hosted by the organization founded by Anna Madjewski for the good of Illinois, and Andrew Breitbart was the special guest because he's in town today for the Right Nation event at the Sears Arena. And he was talking last night about how he had been trying to get in touch with ABC, NBC, and CBS about a story that he is about to break with regards to Debbie Halverson and the connection that she has with SEIU.
You know what?
Yeah.
I tell you what. Until he breaks it, why don't we let him break it?
Sure, that'll be fine.
It'll be a surprise to everybody.
All right. And then I have one thing. I'm on the death panel.
Yes.
I'm also a healthcare professional. And what was passed last year, along with the first stimulus, this was passed in February, with regards to Medicare patients. What is being planned right now, or what is in process right now, what the death panels are a group of experts, whoever these experts are, that are putting together a database of every known possible diagnosis that can afflict us. They are also putting together what is called the straight medical model. Medicare patients will not have available to them, when this is in place, they will not have available to them experimental drugs or experimental procedures. When the patient now goes in to see the doctor...
Cindy?
Yeah.
I have to say goodbye. I'm out of time.
All right. Okay. I'll call you next week about it.
On that bright note, it's time to say goodbye. Don't forget, next Saturday, Gary Summers from Antiques Roadshow will be here for part of the show. Paul Bryan at 8 o'clock, as we said. And then Bruce and Dan at noon, and Eddie and Jobo at 2 right here in WS. Bye-bye.